Hello, good morning, guys. Welcome to our offline modality of Mathematics 9 Quarter 1 discussion. So, we are now into week 5, module number 5, entitled Quadratic Inequalities. For this video lesson, we will only discuss two objectives. The third objective will be portrayed or displayed on a separate video lesson. So please bear with me. Hopefully, we will be able to understand little by little each slide that will be presented. So first objective is to illustrate quadratic inequalities. Second is to solve quadratic inequalities using interval notations. And lastly, for a separate video lesson that will talk about how to solve word problems involving quadratic inequalities. To start up with lesson number 1, entitled Illustrating Quadratic Inequalities, we will have a task to do. And our task is to identify which of the following equations that are considered quadratic. Given these 8 mathematical sentences or statements, we will identify which of these statements will be considered quadratic based on our discussion on module number 1. What do you think? Which of these statements or sentences can be considered quadratic? Let's try to check whether we have the same answer. Number 1. Okay, that one. So the equation x squared plus 9x plus 20 equal to 0 is considered quadratic since it is complete, no? It has 3 terms, 3 components of a quadratic equation: x squared, 9x, and 20. Next item, okay, that one. M squared is equal to 6m minus 7. That is still considered quadratic. If we are going to rewrite this one in standard form, that will become m squared minus 6m plus 7 equal to 0. Next is 4x squared minus 25 equal to 0. This is an example of an incomplete quadratic equation because it contains only the quadratic term 4x squared, or the first term, followed by the constant term, or the third term, negative 25. And another is this one, 15 minus 6h squared equal to 100. This is considered quadratic. Same with the third item nga itong box. Same na sila, incomplete quadratic equation. Wherein if we are going to rewrite this one in standard form, it will become 0 equal to positive 6h squared plus 85. How come 85? Because 100 is seen already on the right side, and 15 on the left side of the equation will be transferred to the right side of the equation. It becomes minus 15. So if we're to combine the two constant terms, the constant, no, 100 of 15, so 100 minus 15 is 85, positive 85. So that will become 0 equal to 6h squared plus 85, and that is considered incomplete quadratic equation composing of the first term and the last term, or the third term. Are there any other mathematical sentence or statements that can consider quadratic? What do you think? Okay. So, more dito ang upat ang pwede makonsider nga quadratic. So, how are you able to identify which of these mathematical statements are quadratic? Sa katong timailhan. Okay. If it contains at least two terms, no? Two terms of the quadratic equation. It should contain at least two terms. So at least sa two terms, naa ang first term, parisan siya second term, or first term and the third term. Or most probably, the three terms good. The quadratic term, the linear term, and the constant term. As portrayed sa first natong statement nga atong gi-encirclean. How would you call these mathematical statements that are not considered as quadratic equations? So, sa may refer ani, ang kanang wala gipang encirclean. Ngano day kahan na sila, sir, ngundi sa quadratic? What do you think? What observations have you seen to these mathematical sentences that have not been encircled. Okay, so moving to our next part of our lesson. So the equations encircled are the ones that are considered quadratic. This is wrong, ha? Sorry, wrong ng term not. Itong given circling kanina are considered quadratic equations. But those mathematical statements that have not been encircled, that are not considered quadratic, are called quadratic inequalities. So what is a quadratic inequality, sir? A quadratic inequality is an inequality that contains degree 2 and corresponding symbols of inequality that can be written in the following form. So unsa day symbols of inequality? Kasi quadratic equation, there's only one symbol ang gigamit, no? And that is the symbol of equality. Other than that, the operations ng plus or minus are there already. But here in quadratic inequality, there are symbols of inequality that will be used. So what are symbols of inequality? Okay, this one. So muna na nakita ganina, no, sa ato ang class number 1. Okay, there are terms when we represent a quadratic inequality. The three components of a quadratic equation are still present, only that it differs na sa iyahang symbols of inequality, like greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So we have to take note that not all mathematical statements that contains the said symbols of inequalities like less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to, simply because naamag na yung mga bagis obos no sa less than or greater than, so that will be read as or equal to, would necessarily mean quadratic inequality, because we have also to check if its first term, that is ax squared, contains the degree of 2. So dilitan nang na first term na a degree or exponent of 2. Otherwise, it shall be considered linear inequality. Okay, what if they na mga mathematical statements nga na exponent 2, pero duha ka variable ang involved? So di siya ma-consider nga quadratic, no? It should the mathematical sentence or statement should contain only one variable. Okay, up next, sampling time. Let us try to determine whether each mathematical sentence illustrates a quadratic inequality or not. So we have 4 items for us to identify. So number one, it is considered quadratic inequality. Why? Because it is of degree 2. Okay, as seen on x squared. Okay, an exponent of 2, and is written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c greater than 0. So, quadratic inequality. Second, 3x squared minus 4x equal to 1 is not considered. Why? Because the given mathematical sentence is a quadratic equation, dili inequality. Ano naman? Na may symbol ng equal. Okay? The third item. There are 2 binomials that are written, 2x minus 3 and x plus 2. The product of 2 binomials is greater than 0. So this one, what do you think would be our answer? If it is quadratic inequality or not? So how would be able to say nga kanin siya, kuha ni sir, quadratic equation siguro na sir, oy? How sure are you? Unless if we will do the expansion. So when we say expansion, na may mga parentheses, so meaning atong i-multiply. So this is considered quadratic inequality. Why? Because if it is transformed, it would be made into a quadratic inequality. So giunsa di sir nga mahimo siyang quadratic inequality. So given the two binomials 2x minus 3 and x plus 2 is greater than 0. So kung naay parentheses di ay, it follows nga i-multiply. So So we will make use of the DPMA, distributive property of multiplication over addition. At the same time, kung nagamit ang DPMA, it also follows the pattern sa FOIL, F-O-I-L. So first term, outer og outer, inner og inner, last and last term. So 2x times x is 2x squared. F, 2x times positive 2 is 4x. That is O, is the outer. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. That is I, inner. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. That is L, last term. So nakumpito, F-O-I-L, FOIL method. Na bring down greater than 0. So we need to combine the two middle term. Okay, duha man ang middle term, no? Or the second term, or the linear term, ang 4x of 3x. So we copy 2x squared. Positive 4x minus 3x is 1x, or simply plus x. Okay, if we write only the variable, it follows na iyang numerical coefficient is 1. Then we bring down minus 6, greater than 0. So the final equation or statement can be considered quadratic inequality. It has first term, the middle term, and a constant term. And most especially that it contains the greater than symbol. And this is one of the symbol of inequality, di ba? So number 3 is quadratic inequality. How about the last example? The given is 3x squared plus 18 less than 3 times the binomial x squared minus 4x. Okay, so what do you think would be our answer? Would this be considered quadratic inequality or a quadratic equation or another kind of equation? Or remember na ay parentheses, so meaning there should be multiplication, distribution to this item or to this mathematical sentence. Okay, let's try to check your answer. The answer is no. Why? Siya nga naman, sir, kung hindi mo siya consider ang quadratic inequality. Simply because if this mathematical sentence or statement will be transformed, it would be made into a linear inequality as shown on the solution below. This one. So we copy 3x squared plus 18 less than 3 times binomial x squared minus 4x. As I have said, if there is parentheses, we need to undergo distributive property, or using the distributive property of multiplication over addition or subtraction. Subtraction simply because minus man iyang operation. Okay, so to proceed, the second line of the solution, we copy the left side of the equation or inequality, sorry. Kaya naman symbol nga less than. We copy 3x squared, we copy plus 18, we copy the symbol less than. Then we distribute 3, monomial 3 to the binomial x squared of negative 4x. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times negative 4x, negative 12x. Then what will happen next, sir? Okay, as you would observe, na ay duha ka 3x squared, no? And it would give us the idea nga i-combine sila. So, just like what we did sa quadratic equation, we transfer, no? I-combine ang like terms. So, we copy the left side 3x squared. Then, i-follow ang minus 3x squared. Din, nagikan ng minus 3x squared, sir. Okay, gikan na siya sa right side of the inequality or mathematical sentence. Ang positive 3x squared, positive na siya ka ba? Though wala siya plus, pero consider na siya positive. It doesn't necessarily mean na butang ng plus para matawag siya positive. So, positive 3x squared, ibalhin sa left side of the inequality or mathematical statement, it is minus 3x squared. Then, sunod, sir, kanang negative minus 12x, gikan sa right side, ibalhin na niya. Okay, isunod na ito, no? First term, second term, third term. Or the quadratic term, the linear term, and the constant term. So, nagsunod na ang duha ka quadratic term. So, what should be written next is the linear term, ang bx. And that is 12x. From the right side of the equation, it is negative 12x. And it transfers sa left side, himong plus 12x. So, the reason na naniya nga naman change yung operation, it is using the addition property of equality since plus 1 ang gamit. For kaning minus 3x squared, it is using subtraction property of equality. Okay. How about the last? Plus 18. Di man gikan plus 18, sir. Or we simply copy plus 18 because 18 is already on the left side of the mathematical statement. And we copy less than. And what remains on the right side is 0 na lang. Okay, gibalhin naman na to si 3x squared o negative 12x pa doon sa left side. So, nabilin, 0. The last line of the solution will become 12x plus 18 less than 0. Nga naman, sir? Okay, we cancel 3x squared o negative 3x squared. Minus na, di ba? Same term sila, pareho silang 3x squared. Yeah. Positive, ang usa, negative. So, cancel. Mabilin, 12x plus 18. And this is an example of a linear inequality. Yun siya linear equation, ha? Kadili mo na siya nagamit og symbol nga equal. Less than man yung gigamit. So, linear inequality. Naka-remember mo pa grade 7. Okay, di ba? Okay. So, those are the 4 examples that we have. The goal there is to identify which of the mathematical sentences or statements are considered quadratic inequality or not. When you say not, it's either quadratic equation siya or linear equation or linear inequality. Okay, nasabdan na ba? If there are questions, naglibog, pwede rin po i-backward ang video, na fast forward, backward, until nga masabtan. Or, if naglibog, pwede po i-PM sa messenger. Okay? So, let's proceed to the next part of the video lesson. Okay. So, we are now in our activity. So, for what will you do? You'll determine whether each mathematical sentence, if it illustrates a quadratic inequality or not. Show your complete solution on one whole sheet of paper. So, we say, show your complete solution, that is, one way to prove if the mathematical sentence or statement is an inequality or equation. You will expand. So these are the items that you will work out, 1 to 6. Okay. Moving to our second part of this video lesson is lesson number 2, solving quadratic inequalities. Our second task for this video lesson is we'll have a short recall in Mathematics 7 lesson on linear inequality, because during that time you were taught on how to write the solution set using the interval notation given the graph drawn on the number line. So, sinunod naman sa number line. Okay, this one. Gamiton siya number line if we are using, the topic is on linear equation or linear inequality. So, sa number line, the middle number is 0. The numbers to the right of 0 are positive increasing numbers, while the numbers to the left of 0 are the negative decreasing numbers. Why am I saying the numbers on the right side are positive at the same time increasing? Of course, makadako number, makadako yung value. But on the left side, sir, parehab gyapon na sila po sa right side, sir. Dagko mga numero, sir. Anong ingon ka nga decreasing? Simply because ang ilang value is lesser than 0. So once the number on the left side is going farther away from 0, their value becomes also lesser. Magkagamay ang ilang value. Though dako ilang number, pero ang ilang value nagkagamay. Okay? So what shall we do? Okay, na-yellow. Na-iduha ka circle ng yellow, and there is a thick yellow line pointing to the left. So, kasi gamit ang letter A, B, and C, sir. Okay. Karon, may baon lang to. Unsay gamit ang mga letters A, B, and C on top of the number line. Okay. For the meantime, we assigned letters on each region. So, say region, sir. Partition. You see, region by area, no? So, there are 3 partitions of the number line. First partition are the numbers belonging gikan sa negative 2, kay naama diha ang circle, nag-start. Then, facing to the left. Ang iyahang baga nga yellow nga line is pointing to the left. So, that is considered region A. So, tanang values gikan sa negative 2, padong sa belongs to region A. How about those values belonging to region B? So, gikan gyapon sa negative 2 padung ni positive 3. Mo na siya ang mga values belonging to region B. How about region C? So, region C will take the values starting from 3 padung sa right. So, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Those numbers belong to region C. Okay. So, when we write the interval notation of each region, inani ang pagsuwat. So, sa kanina siyang example, the solutions are pointing from negative 2 to the left. So, we write the interval notation as x less than negative 2. So, sabi sa iyo ang pagbasa ni, unsa ang mga values sa x nga gamay pa sa negative 2. Sabtan ko? So, sa English pa ha, the values of x which are less than negative 2. So, Bisaya, unsa ang mga values sa x nga gamay pa sa negative 2? Or unsa ang mga numbers sa x nga gamay pa sa negative 2? So, ang negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, and so on. Those numbers are mga number nga gamay pa sa negative 2. Again, as I have said from the start, the numbers when the numbers that fall to the left of 0 are decreasing in value. Though dagko siya numero pero magagamay ang value. So therefore, ang negative 2 dako pa sa negative 3. So ang pagbasa aning mga numbers sa x or values sa x nga gamay pa sa negative 2 mag-start sa negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, and so on. Nasabtan? Next. So, how do we write the solution? Okay, this one. Na parentheses from negative 2 to negative infinity. So, ipasabot aning parentheses is exclusive, walay labot. So, ang negative 2, walay labot siya sa solution. Pero, start diha sa negative 2. Pero, again, parentheses means walay labot ang negative 2. Until na sa negative, pinakalas nga negative number. So, if it is a hollow or open dot, so remember tani kanina siya, this number line uses the hollow dot or the open dot. Okay, hollow, meaning open naman siya, di ba? Di mo siya kanang shaded. Negative 2 and 3 are not part. Negative 2 and positive 3 are not part of the solution set in any of the three regions A, B, and C. So, pasabot ka ng negative 2 and 3 are not part. Okay. Parentheses will be used in writing the interval notation only when may condition. Kung saan magamit ang parentheses. If it contains the negative infinity and positive infinity. Ikaduha, the inequality used is less than and greater than, or when it uses open dot. So, sa kaninga graph, sa number line, yun yung inequality nino. So, the open dot is the open dot and its arrow is pointing to the left. So, possible nga naasa niya siya partner pod nga pick as arrow pointing to the right. So, dili mo na mahitabo nga ang solution is naaragid sa nag-start di ka sa negative 2 going to the left of the number line. So, nani ka at bang. So, what do you think is the next? Let's proceed. Continuation. Okay, sa kato nga solution ganina, as I have said, when the arrow started with negative 2 pointing to the left, nato siya partner, ang iyang kaatbang, ang region C. Pero sa discussion na sa next, katulo, nga part. So, this part, usap niya siya ipasabot. Okay. When the thick yellow line is located between, kung ang drawing ganato is in between sa duha ka region, between region A and region C, nagpasabot ani ang solution naa sa region B exclusively. Nagpasabot gikan sa negative 2 padong sa positive 3 na dinha mapili ra ang solution. Pero why labot ang negative 2, wa say labot ang positive 3. Why? This is an open dot. So ang posible makonsider solution na is negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. Why labot ang 3, why labot ang negative 2. So that's why sa interval notation, pagsuwat niya, the value of x which is less than 3. Pabaka to the right ang pagbasa. What are the values of x which are less than 3? Sa mga number nga gamay pa sa 3. 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and so on. Pero doon naman siya ikaduha nga symbol of inequality nga gamit. So pagbasa na po ani, the values of x which are less than 3 at the same time, values of x which are greater than negative 2. Again, ganina ang pagbasa to the right. Values of x less than 3. So mga number nga gamay pa sa 3. So 2, 1, 0, and so on, negative numbers. Pero doon naman sa ikaduha po niya nga part sa interval notation nga values of x which are greater than negative 2. So unsa mga number sa x or value ni x nga dako pa ni negative 2, and that is negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Again, why labot ang 3? Kaya gi-mention naman siya dinhi nga sa mga number nga gamay pa sa 3. So ang 2, why labot ang 3? Okay? So to write the interval notation for region B, whose graph is located at the middle, we use the parentheses since it uses open dot. So giving us the interval notation from negative 2 to positive 3. Again, so ang kani siyang interval notation nga negative 2 to positive 3 will tell us nga ang solution is between negative 2 padung sa positive 3. Walay labot ang negative 2 o 3. Next. Okay, that one. The third one. Okay, katong first nga graph, kita mo atong ang graph gikan sa negative 2 nga circle going to the left ang iyahang thick yellow line. So nagpasabot ato niya nga ang iyang solution nag-start sa negative 3 padung sa pinakagamay na nga value sa negative nga number. Kaya negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, mga number nga gamay pa na sa negative 2. Pero way labot ang negative 2. So this third graph is showing us the solution of the given linear inequality wherein ang iyahang possible nga mga solution nag-start of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So why labot ang 3? Because it uses open dot. Okay, so that one. So what are the values of x nga greater than 3? So unsa mga number nga dako pa sa 3? Ang 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Sub 10. So to write the interval notation for region C, whose graph is located at the right, we use the parentheses again. Since it uses open dot, giving us the interval notation from positive 3 to positive infinity. So ang pagbasa aning comma is 2. So 3 to positive infinity. So again, kung may parentheses, nagpasabot, walay labot ang 3. And then na-close man siya nganon gamit mo siya og open close parenthesis sir nga kuan man siya dapat unta kumingkag way labot, so meaning unsa man ang numeroha sa infinity nga way labot, so dili siya pwede ha magamit ra ang open o close parenthesis first condition kung naay negative infinity o positive infinity. Ang ikaduha, if it is using the open dot. Okay? So next part of our lesson. Continuation. Using solid or closed dot. So the first three graph na to nakita ganina are using open or hollow dot. So Kung na-open o hollow dot, ang pagsuwat sa interval notation is parentheses. How about kung solid or closed dot na? From region A, region B, and region C. Okay. First, example, using a solid or closed dot for region A. So, si pasabot ani inani nga graph. Okay. So, ganina, sa tulo ka buok graph na ito nakita, nagamit ato niya is less than or greater than nga symbol. Pero karon na siya equal to. So, basahon ni siya as x less than or equal to negative 4. So, sa Bisaya pa, kung sa mga value ni x, sa value ni x, sorry. Wrong statement. Kung sa mga value sa x nga gamay pa sa negative 4, pero appeal ang negative 4. So, sa mga number nga gamay pa sa negative 4, ang negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, and so on. Pero appeal ang negative 4. So, therefore, negative 4 is part of the solution. Kaya it is shaded man, solid or closed dot. So, to write the interval notation for region A, whose graph points to the left, we use open parentheses for negative infinity. Again, basta naa sa negative infinity or positive infinity, ang pares na niya open or close parentheses. And close bracket. Asa man yung close bracket, sir? O kanang gisuwat right after sa negative 4 close bracket. For negative 4, since negative 4 is part of the solution set, giving us the interval notation, open parentheses, negative infinity to positive to negative 4 na close bracket. Next. Okay, that one. So, nagsuot man ta og representation sa value ni x. So, ato po isuot ang interval notation na gyud ang iyang final interval notation nga open parentheses, negative infinity, comma, to negative 4, close bracket. Nagpasabot, appeal ang negative 4. Next region, for region B. The value of x, we write the equation x less than or equal to 1, at the same time x greater than or equal to negative 4. So, ang pagkasabot ani, first basa na to going to the right. So, kung sa mga value sa x nga gamay pa sa 1, kasi mga number nga gamay pa sa 1, obviously 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Pero nga dili mo siya ninyo dito, sir, kaya na may second condition nga kung sa po mga values sa x nga dako pa sa negative 4. So, meaning padung na siya sa 0 or positive numbers, no? Okay. Wala man pasabot no sa mga number nga dako pa sa negative 4, dili na pwede mo yung negative 5, negative 6. Okay, wala man pasabot kung dako ang number, dako ang yung value. No. Magkadako ang number sa negative nga side, makagamay ang value. So, meaning, ang mga number nga dako pa sa negative 4 can start of negative 3, then negative 2, negative 1, 0, and so on. Pero dili na po mula sa 1. Why? Na may first condition nga unsa mga number nga gamay pa sa 1 pero appeal ang 1. So ang kanang word nga appeal ang 1 kay na may symbol nga equal. So nag-start ang solution sa 1, positive 1 padung sa negative 4. Kay nga naman appeal ang negative 4 kay naa man ang symbol nga equal. Okay? So to write the interval notation for region B, whose graph is located at the middle, we use a bracket o bracket na. So dili ta makita na ang parentheses. Kano sa ato magamit ang parentheses? Only when gamiton ang negative infinity or positive infinity. Na kano sa man siya mo appear ang negative o positive infinity. If the graph is facing region A or if the graph is facing region C. Di ba? Wala na siya makita sa region B. Okay? So balik. We use a bracket since negative 4 and positive 1 are part of the solution set since it uses closed dot or solid dot, giving us the interval notation open bracket from negative 4 to positive 1 close bracket. Meaning that is Exclusively, inclusively. Inclusively. Meaning, upil ang negative 4 ug upil ang 1. Pagkatong open parenthesis o close parenthesis that uses exclusively. Exclusive kay way labot ang mga number nga naka-state sa pagsuwat sa interval notation. How about the third? Graph using solid or closed depth. So, manata sa region A, region B. So, our third graph will be for region C, showing region C. Continuation. Okay, that one. So, there are two closed depth, and the arrow is facing to the right of region C. So, how do we write the interval notation? That. So, what are the ang pagsuwat sa iyahang representation sa value sa x kay x greater than or equal to 1. So, pabisaya pa, kung sa mga values sa x nga dako pa sa 1, nga appeal ang 1. So, sa mga number dako sa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Pero appeal man ang 1. So, therefore, 1 is part of the solution. And mag-start din ha ang open bracket. Open bracket eh. Start man ang first number. Open bracket 1, comma, to positive infinity. Dili siya close bracket ha, but instead, open parenthesis. Again, basta naa sa negative o positive infinity, ang pares na niya should be parenthesis. Open or close parenthesis. Nya mo appear again na ang parenthesis at other than nga naa si what you call this? Other than nga naa si infinity kun sa ganito, if it is using open dot pero close dot man siya. Oh, usa ta sa mga condition. There are two possible conditions man good nga karon sa magamit ang open parenthesis. First, iyang condition kung naa si positive or negative infinity. Ikaduha, if it's using open dot. So, sa second condition, dili na siya pwede kay close dot mini. Okay. To write the interval notation for region C whose graph points to the right, we use an open bracket. Oh, since 1 is part of the solution, man open bracket 1, comma, positive infinity, close parenthesis. And a close parenthesis for it contains positive infinity, giving us the interval notation, close bracket 1, comma, positive infinity, close parenthesis. Okay. So, how important are this discussion di ay sa open dot o close dot? Karon sa ta magamit og open parenthesis, close parenthesis, o karon sa ta pwedeng kagamit og open bracket o close bracket. Given the conditions on when we can use the parenthesis and bracket in writing the interval notations of the various solution sets of these inequalities, how can we use it in solving quadratic inequalities? So ganina, those are linear inequalities. How about quadratic inequalities? Okay. So what is it? So we are now in our main discussion of lesson number 2. So how are we going to solve quadratic inequalities using interval notation? So we have three steps to be used in solving quadratic inequalities. First step. So if we are given a quadratic inequality, mathematical statement or sentence, first step is to express the quadratic inequality as a quadratic equation in the form of x squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So again, no, mas kito din inequality siya, mubalik ya punta sa quadratic equation. So using equal na symbol. Then solve for the value of x using any method. Kaya dili ta makasolve sa x sa value sa x if will not go back to quadratic equation. So using any method, either kung complete quadratic equation lang or complete quadratic inequality, we either use factoring method, completing the square method, or quadratic formula. Next step, locate the numbers or values of x on the number line which will guide you to determine the exact solution among three regions That is region A, B, and C. Then the third is to choose a test point from each region and plug into the regional inequality for verification purposes. If it holds true for region A, it is possible nga true pud siya sa iyang kaatbang nga region C. Meaning, if it holds true, then that region or regions contains the possible solution or solutions. Otherwise, solutions are found at the other region or regions. So as I have said, if true siya, pasiuna lang ha, kuhan siya ka na, mara siya, it is a fact already nga inig choose a test point nga inig verify nimo sa test point. If it holds true for region A, it is also possible nga true pud siya sa region C. Nya automatic ang region B, ang center region mo ay false. Kung false na gani, pag test point lang dang sa region A, false na gani ang iyahang statement, so possible, akong possibility nga ang true ana nasa center region or region B. Nya automatic ang kaatbang sa region A, ang region C would also give you a false answer. So let us try solving a few examples using the following steps mentioned above. So, at maragwa na tayo duha example, I guess. So, the first example, the mathematical statement is x squared minus 3x plus 2 greater than 0. So what is the first step? Step number 1. We will transform the quadratic inequality into quadratic equation. So simple lang. Copy x squared minus 3x plus 2, then pulihan ra ang greater than symbol og equal, then 0. Step number 1. Step number 2. Or rewriting, no? Step number 2 is to find the binomial factors of the quadratic equation. Okay, step number 2 is find a method to use in solving the given quadratic equation nga derived from quadratic inequality. So, since the given quadratic equation is factorable by the binomials x minus 2 and x minus 1 equal to 0, so pwede siya masolve. Kaya nga naman, negative 2 times negative 1, negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2, negative 2 plus negative 1 is negative 3. Sakto, no? If you will recall our way of solving quadratic equation using factoring method, katong Punnett square. Okay. Negative 2 plus negative 1 is negative 3. Sum. Negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Product. Okay, plus 2 na. Next step. According to zero product property, equate the two binomial factors to 0. So x minus 2 equal to 0 and x minus 1 equal to 0. Next. Determine the values of x. Okay. Since both binomials is equal to 0, so automatic, no? Ang negative 2, minus 2 transferred to the right side becomes positive 2. Ang minus 1 transferred to the right side of the equation becomes positive 1. So therefore, our roots are positive 2 and positive 1. And this will be the values of x nga atong i-plot sa number line. And that serves as our stepping stone to comply with step number 2. So step number 1 po dere, writing and solving. Step number 2, plotting of our values of x nga positive 2 o positive 1. Okay, nagsikit ra 1 and 2, 2 or 1. Next is you can select any of the numbers belonging to each region except for the given values of x. So what are the given values of x? Ang 1 ug ang 2. Way labot sila. Values of x that are already plotted on the number line in the case of open dot. Ay open dot man ni siya, so meaning dili gid sila labot sa solution. So it's either ang mga number labot to the left of 1 are 0 and negative numbers kana sila. Then sa region B, unsa man ang mga number nga in between sa 1 ug 2? Ang 1/4, 1/2, 3/4 ug uban pa nga gagmay nga fraction. Then unsa sa region C, nag-start gikan sa 3 padung sa positive numbers. So mo na siya ang mga possible nga mga values of each region for region A, region B, region C. From region A, magkuanta no test point no kay mo man ni ang last step to verify asa jud ang solution set na belong. From region A, what if I will choose for, diba, we can choose man for a test point no any number from region A. Pwede ka pwede ba ka makapili o 0, pwede po negative 1, pwede po negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and any negative number, decreasing number. So, in this example, I choose 0. So, when x is 0, then what will happen? So, tibuhaton, i-plug in ang value, ang test point ngadto sa linear quadratic inequality nga x squared minus 3x plus 2 greater than 0. Atong i-verify kung tinuod ba na siya nga statement if our x is 0. So, pulihan ang x, variable x is 0. So, manang 0 squared minus 3 times the value of x when our x is 0. So, 3 times 0 plus 2 greater than 0. So, what is the square of 0? 0 squared is 0 times 0. 0 times 0 is 0. Minus 3 times 0. What is 3 times 0? 3 times 0, any number multiplied by 0 is 0. So, wala na ni siya. Negative 3 times 0 is 0. Ang primero kay 0. So, 0 plus 0 is 0. Nabilin, 2 na lang. So, 2, ang nabilin na lang sa statement is 2 greater than 0. So, is it true or false nga ang 2 dako pa sa 0? Is 2 greater than 0? Yes, it is true. Ang 2 dako pa sa 0, so it is true. So, as I have said, if it is possible nga true sa region A, ang iyang kaatbang nga region is ang region C, possibly true. Let's try to check. So, from region C, when ang akong gipili nga value sa x kay 3, ang doon sa 2 kay 3. Pwede pong pili ko 4 or 5 or 6. Akong gipili lang kay 3. Again, kamoray bahala sa yung test point as long as naa siya sa borderline sa region. Nga ato pa ang atong basehan sa pag name of region is ang values of x kani ang solution set sa step 1. So, for region C, if I will choose 3 as the value of x, then i-plug in sa kanina inequality x squared minus 3x plus 2 greater than 0. So, pulihan si x of 3 kay x is 3 man. 3 squared minus 3 times the value of x which is also 3 consistently. 3 times 3 plus 2 greater than 0. So, what is 3 squared? 3 times 3 is 9. Now, negative 3 times 3. What is negative 3 times 3? Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Ganina, 3 square, 9. So, 9 minus 9, 0. So, cancel. So, nabilin dahil sa 9 minus 9, 0. Nabilin na lang dahil kay 2 plus 2 or positive 2 greater than 0. So, again, this is true. Kaya ang 2, dako pa sa 0. Yes? Okay. This is true. So, therefore, sa kato siya nga solution, okay na. Region A is true. Region C is true. So, dakong possibility nga ang region B 100% false yun na. So, natuti mailhan nga again, if region A is true, it is dakong possibility nga ang region C ang katbang true. Na automatically ang region B false. Kaya kung ang region A false, automatically ang iyang katbang region C should also be false. Therefore, ang region B nasad ang true. Let's try to check. Okay, this one. Mo na ang pag-verify nga ang region A ganina, region A and region C are both true. So therefore, ang region B false. So, kung saan mo siya nahitabo? From region B, I choose the value of x which is 1.5. Okay, di mo ta pwede magamit og 1, pwede magamit og 2. So I choose 1.5 nga value. Then, if akong i-plug in 1.5 nga value nga to sa x squared minus 3x plus 2 greater than 0, so my value of x is 1.5. Again, patawag na parenthesis dapat ha, the square of 1.5. Meaning, 1.5 times 1.5 is 2.25. Then, minus 3 times the value of x, which is 1.5. So, 3 times 1.5 is 4.5. Minus, copy. Bring down plus 2, bring down greater than 0. So, next part of the solution, kaning 2.25 minus 4.5 plus 2 greater than 0. So, mahog siya. Ano, sir, din, gikan 4.25. Okay, akong gi-add ang 2.25 o positive 2. Gi-add sa nako mga positive. So, that will give me 4.25. Again, 2 plus 2.25 is 4.25. Then, minus 4.5. So, kay bawta nga ang kanang 4.25 is gamay pag yun ni 4.5. So, 4.25 minus 4.5 is greater than 0. So, what is 4.25 minus 4.5? Exactly, negative 0.25. Is it greater than 0? Obviously, it is false. Kaya ang negative na number, dili ginamhitabo nga dako pa na siya sa 0. Ang negative na number, gamay pa na siya sa 0. So, it should be false. So, with this example, once both test points on regions A and C are proven true, automatically the test point in region B would be false. So, mana kong gingon. Therefore, our solution set are found on regions A and C with a given interval notation as, okay, duha na tong interval notation pagkasuwat. Naman sa region A o region C. So, yung sa man pagsuwat. Tara ang yung graph. Dapat na adjust graph. Iba tong ato ang mga solution, ato ang values of x kay 1 o 2 man. Pero wala sa ilaha ang mga solution kay open dot man. Kaya sa ramgam ng open dot when the inequality uses less than or greater than. So, ang pagsuwat sa interval notation is for open parentheses. Open parentheses 1 to negative infinity. Kaya gikan sa 1 padung sa negative infinity. Union. Sa union. Kaya nagpasabot ani and mani from open parentheses 2 to positive infinity. So, again, gikan sa 2 padung sa positive infinity. Again, using open and close parentheses. Nagpasabot ang kanang 1, ang kaning 1 ug 2 dili na sila labot sa solution. Okay? Okay, that one. Sir, example number 2. So, example number 1, mo to siya example when using less than or greater than. So, kung makita nimo ang quadratic inequality nga less than or greater than, expected nga hollow dot or open dot. For example number 2, we are using less than or equal to. Or kung magamit na greater than or equal to, expected nga closed dot or solid dot. Okay. Step 1. We will write or rewrite the quadratic inequality to quadratic equation. Simple lang. I-copy ang x squared plus 4x minus 12. Then, ipulihan ang less than or equal to o symbol nga equal. Then, 0. That is rewriting. Then, next step is to find the factors, binomial factors of the quadratic equation since the given quadratic equation is factorable. Sum and product. Okay, the factors of 12 are 6 and 2. Positive 6 and negative 2. Ano man, okay, 6, positive 6 minus 2 is positive 4. Ang sum, na 4, 4x. So, ang plus nasa 6, ang minus nasa 2. Then, 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Next, according to zero product property, equating the two binomial factors to 0. So, therefore, x plus 6 is equal to 0. And x minus 2 equal to 0. Next, therefore, pag-transfer no sa plus 6 to the right side becomes negative 6. So, x, finding the values of x mani. So, x, the first value of x is equal to negative 6. Gikan sa plus 6, may mo negative 6. And the second value of x is equal to positive 2. Okay, gikan sa minus 2, nagbalin sa right side, positive 2. So, therefore, ang values sa x nga negative 6 o positive 2 atong i-plot sa number line using close dot. Ngano close dot? Nagamit siya sa symbol nga less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Ganina, open dot kay less than or greater than. So again, negative 6 na diri. Positive 2 na dinhi. Next. Step number 3 is selecting any numbers test point, no? Selecting any numbers belonging to each region A, B, and C except for the given values of x that are already plotted on the number line in the case of open dot. Pero, sorry, nasa po ani, dili na siya magamit ang word nga except, pero uptil na siya. So, meaning, ang pagsabanin niya, we can select any of the numbers belonging to each region, including for the given values of x that are already plotted on the number line in the case of closed dot. Sorry, that is to make corrections sa kung gibuhat ha. Inclusive instead of except, inclusive so meaning appeal, closed dot instead of open dot. Okay, so I'll start with region A. Akong gipili nga test point from region A. Asa man region A? Gikan sa negative 6 padong to the left. So from region A, I choose negative 7. So right after sa negative 6, ang pinakaduol, negative 7. So if I will plug in negative 7 nga to sa original niya nga quadratic inequality, x squared plus 4x minus 12 less than or equal to 0. So I will be right. X squared plus 4x minus 12 less than or equal to 0. Pulihan nako ang duha ka x of negative 7. So x negative 7 again, sa iyo po niha, I'll make my correction. Negative 7 should be put inside the parentheses para dili siya ma-misinterpret. So that is the square of negative 7 nga enclosed into parentheses plus 4 times the value of x which is negative 7 then minus 12 less than or equal to 0. I-copy ra. The square of negative 7 is negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. Then positive 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. Bring down minus 12. Bring down less than or equal to 0. Next, 49 minus 28, ilan na siya? 21. So, continuous subtraction, no? Again, 49 minus 28 is 21. 21 minus 12 is 9. Nga, 9 ang final answer. 9, I will copy less than or equal to 0. So, let us try to check if it is true or false. So, ako, wata na mag-false, no? Klaro kayong false. Kaya ang 9, dili siya gamay pa sa 0. Kung bisayon pa siya pagbasa. May English na ito pagbasa. 9 is less than or equal to 0. 9, gamay pa sa 0, dili gina may tabo. Ang 9, equal ba sa 0, di siya may tabo. So, it is false. So, with this, kung false ng region A, ang iyang kaatbang region C would also be false. To check from region C, when x is equal to 4. Ang region C nagikan sa 2, no? Positive 2 padong sa positive infinity. Pero, appeal ang 2. Pero, magpili tag test point, wala na sa ilabot ang kanang mga shaded na negative 6 to positive 2. So, magpili ta og number nga nasa region C nga wala labot ang 2. So, I choose 4. So, dili kong gipili 4 kung gipili. Plug in akong 4 sa quadratic inequality. X squared plus 4x minus 12 less than or equal to 0. So, when x is 4, 4 squared. When x is 4 said, 4 times 4 minus 12 less than or equal to 0. 4 squared, 16. 4 times 4, 16. Gapon. Bring down minus 12. Bring down less than or equal to. Bring down 0. 16 plus 16 is 32. 32 minus 12 is 20. Sakto? 16 plus 16, 32. 32 minus 12 is 20. The copy less than or equal to 0. Is 20 gamay pa sa 0? Hindi na may tabo. Is 20 equal to 0? Di sana siya may tabo. So therefore, it is false. So with this example, if region A and region C ang sigkilid nga region kay false, automatically it would give us a 100% assurance nga ang region B would be true. And dito makita ang solution set. So from region B, balik ta. So unsay mga values sa region B? gikan sa negative 6 padung sa positive 2. So, pwede kong pili 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. Okay? So, sa test point na ko for region B, nagpili ko when x is 0. Then, i-plug in ako sa quadratic inequality. X squared plus 4x minus 12 less than or equal to 0. When x is 0, so 0 squared plus 4 times 0 minus 12 less than or equal to 0. What is 0 squared? 0 times 0 is 0. 4 times 0 is still 0. Bring down minus 12. Bring down less than or equal to 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 minus 12. Yan sa kay 12 ra. Ang 0 kuhaan og 12. So padungog na siya sa negative no. So 0 minus 12 is negative 12. Less than or equal to 0. So, mapapasa sa Bisaya, ang negative 12, gamay pa ba sa 0? Yes, it is 100% true. Ang negative 12, equal ba sa 0? Dili gina siya mahitabo nga equal. But at least, ang negative 12, less than pa sa 0. Gamay pa siya sa 0. And that would hold true. With this example, once both test points on regions A and C are proven false, automatically, any test point in region B would be true, even without solving. Nga appeal to ang negative 6 of positive 2 since it is closed dot. Therefore, our solution set is found in region B only with a given interval notation as open and close bracket from negative 6 padung sa positive 2. Inclusively, appeal ang negative 6, appeal ang positive 2. Okay, so our graph will start with shaded negative 6 padung ni positive 2 close shaded. Okay, so I guess ang two examples would be a good help for us to solve the activity using the 3 steps. So for your activity, solve the given quadratic inequalities by writing the correct interval notation using the number line. Show your complete solution as what I have shown on this video lesson on one whole sheet of paper. There are 4 items, but you will only answer items number 2 and number 4. Sakto ba? Okay, sakto. Number 2 and number 4 answeran. So, usa ka number sa front page sa one whole, ang usa nasa layo, back page. So, thank you once again for listening to this video lesson. For any questions, you can message through Facebook Messenger. Once again, daghang salamat and have a good day everyone.